Hello, Blair. This is Bill Leonard. Can you hear me?
Bill, I can hear you.
Oh, great. And who is this?
It's Michelle.
Oh, thanks, Michelle. I appreciate it.
Sure.
I just wanted to make sure that I was connected because, I know we have some votes on some resolutions and I wanted to participate in that and I got permission to attend the meeting. But I am going to get off of this just for a minute because they needed me to send them an email stating that I wanted to attend remotely. So I'll be right back.
Okay, be right back.
Thank you. Will be attendance King 04 Denver.
Oh, they didn't give very much play to it.
I'll see you then.
Come to do stuff, and I'd hear you talking and see other people.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is
Oh, wow.
going on?
Okay, good morning, everybody. The time being 9 a.m., I'd like to call today's Judicial and Public Safety Committee meeting. It is Thursday, July 13th. My name is Myrna Molina. First item on the agenda is to establish physical quorum.
Gums,
Gums remote.
Linder,
Under here.
Roth,
Roth here.
Tepe, Williams,
Williams present.
Leonard,
Leonard remote.
Molina.
Molina present.
You have an in-person quorum.
Okay, we have quorum in physical quorum, and without objection, I'd like to allow Ms. Gums and Mr. Leonard to be present virtually. Okay, I don't see anybody against that. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from June 15th. May I have a,
Roth will make an unanimous
Okay.
vote. or
we have a
motion.
unanimous
Motion.
motion. Anybody
Consent.
against? We have consent. Okay. Minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is public comment. We have Mr. Vern Tepe who would like to just provide some comment from yesterday evening.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Vern Tepe on the Kane County Board. I just wanted to briefly address some of the things that occurred with the tornadoes last evening. Okay. In the community in Elgin that I live in, which is an over 55 community, the tornado touched down and there were about 40 homes that were damaged. Probably 10 of them will have to be completely rebuilt. There were also a decent number of houses that got some amount of damage and a lot of trees that were down. And in particular, what I'd like to do is to really commend the Kane County Emergency Management Team, okay? The City of Elgin with their team, Elgin Police, and our own Sheriff's Department for the way that they handled things. Even though this happened at 6:30, believe it or not, all of the people that were displaced were taken care of by 10 o'clock last night. And all of the streets were in effect cleaned up, except there's now a sheriff's deputy that won't let anybody in the area, including me. But I really want to commend those emergency departments for doing a phenomenal job in taking care of things. Nobody was injured, and we're all appreciative of that. And I'm sure that it'll be a decent amount of time before they get back in their homes for some of the people. But the way things were handled here in Kane County were just commendable. And we all need to be proud and continue to support those organizations. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tepe. Okay, next item on the agenda is our financial reports. They are on file. And Merit Commission, I don't see anybody here for the Merit Commission, so we will move on to our KingCom department.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Guthrie.
It was a very busy evening last night, as we just discussed. So to add to that, some of the technology that we put in place, actually in June, was tremendously helpful last night. We implemented something called CAD to CAD. Our neighboring centers, Quadcom and Elgin, also use the Tyler New World CAD system and software. So by implementing CAD to CAD, when our phones are inundated with activity, we still have the ability to share call for service information between our centers. So if we have an incident such as a structure fire, a tree's down, or damage from a storm, we can essentially start the call for service and then transfer it over to the neighboring agency. Like I said, this is very helpful when the phones are very active, particularly in a storm or a major emergency. So implementing that in June really helped last night with the activity that we had. In addition, our remainder of the activities for June are on file. I do have a very brief presentation this morning, and the reason for the presentation is because when I was assessing our phone statistics, I saw kind of a dramatic increase of 2,000 phone calls over last June. So I thought, oh my goodness, why the activity, right? We've got 1,000 calls for service, but we have an increase of 2,000 phone calls. And digging a little deeper and talking with our team and spending some time actually plugged in on the communications floor, I found that we are getting just an enormous uptick of accidental 911 calls. And typically this shows in our abandoned calls, but they're not calls that come into the center and hang up right away. They're actually calls that come in as just an open phone line. And the reason for this is because of software and device updates that automatically turn on the SOS feature in your cell phone. So I just want to kind of highlight that. Our telecommunicators must follow up on every accidental or hang up 911 call to make sure there's no actual emergency. When they call in and you just hear an open line, you have to quickly determine, is this an emergency or did someone accidentally call? So how to stop your device from accidentally calling 911. Just a quick slide here for Android. Some ways that you can be aware of the features on your cell phone. This is specifically for Android. This is something I'll work with Julie Mann on as well. I just put this together last night. All these features, I will say, all these features are extremely helpful, but because of them, they can all easily cause accidental calls. So the side button on your cell phone, what we see a lot is if someone's mowing the lawn and they put their phone in the cup holder on the lawnmower. If you are in, a four-wheeler, if you're doing something that shakes your phone, that can cause an accidental call. So these are the instructions for the Android. And then I do have a next slide that addresses the Apple phone as well. And I just want to remind everybody, if you do accidentally call 911, don't hang up. Please stay on the line. Our telecommunicators have to make sure that you do not have an emergency. And if you do hang up, we will end up calling you back anyway. So again, it's just a measure of safety. I'm not suggesting that these necessarily get turned off. It's just to be aware of the features of your phone. On the particular shift that I set out with day shift from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., we saw about 25 of these accidental calls. So when you have other emergencies going on at the same time, that's quite an increase. And I will take any questions, but otherwise that's all I have this morning.
Thank you, Ms. Guthrie. Any questions? Mr. Kenyon.
And this will be on your website?
Yes, we will work with Julie Mann and then we'll do some sort of,
Connection.
yes, absolutely. Like I said,
People read that.
yes.
There,
Yep.
right here.
Yes, perfect. This is just something I put together last night as we were reviewing statistics, and I thought it would be helpful for the meeting today, but I will work with Julie Mann and her team on how we can push that out.
How did you have time to review statistics last night?
Great. Okay, any other
Oh.
questions for our Kingcom director?
Because I was there till 11 p.m.
Okay, we will move on to our sheriff.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Yeah, all the reports are on file, financial and otherwise. I am very excited to introduce our brand new police patrol commander, Mike McCowan. We stole him from St. Charles Police Department, where he served for about 27 years and just retired. And with all of our retirements at the sheriff's office, we really needed to bring on somebody who had a wealth of experience in police leadership. So we're very excited to have him. And he quickly got in a indoctrination last night during the tornado times when I asked him to come back out at 6 p.m. and start helping out. And yeah, I think all of us at the sheriff's office are going on about 6 hours of sleep in the last few days with everything that's been going on. So I'm probably going to leave here early and go take a nap. So, and of
Stay
course,
for a
my right-hand woman, Sloan, my girl, is here because she loves the county board, right? So who doesn't, right?
Assistant Sheriff.
She is, yeah. She's my assistant sheriff. Regarding the May 24th incident in the shooting of Police K-9 Hudson, we're still working to bring back the 3 deputies that are on administrative leave. We're wrapping a ton of mental health support around them and making sure that they're doing well on a daily basis. And we're shooting to have them back by next week. So this has put a little bit of a crunch on our manpower. Obviously, having 3 people off shift is a bit of an issue for us, but we're pushing through that. They're all doing very well. And I want to thank everybody for all of their support, kind words over the last month plus as we bring them back to full speed. Other than that, I think we can move on to our resolution.
Okay, go ahead and introduce that for us.
Sure. So we had to decommission one of our merit commission members, and we're going to appoint former corrections officer, recently retired Manny Olalde, who served with us for almost 30 years in the corrections division. This is going to be a nice asset to have on the merit commission as we hire people on in our biggest division at the sheriff's office.
Perfect. May I have a motion and a second to discuss and potentially approve?
Roth will
Mr.
motion.
Roth moves.
Leonard seconds.
Mr. Williams seconds. All right, any comments or questions regarding this appointment? Okay, may I please have roll call?
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Pepe, Williams,
Williams, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes.
Passes.
Okay, and this passes on to our executive committee. Anything else for our sheriff?
Nope, I am going to cover for John Menching with
Okay.
emergency management because he's still out dealing
Yeah,
with
understandable. Go
tornado
ahead.
stuff. He just wanted me to pass along that all of his reports are on file and they're obviously very active today, finishing up on all the needs.
Okay, thank you. And then we have our state's attorney, Ms. Mosser, online.
Hi,
There
good
she is.
morning.
Good morning.
Sorry about that. I have been in Nashville at training all week, and so I'm now trying to catch up. Our financials are on file right now.
Gotta change it.
Hello? Sorry, our financials are on file. We don't have anything to report today. We should have our end of the report by next month, and we'll do a full presentation so that you can see the trends that we've seen upward in terms of crimes. Other than that, I'm available for questions.
Any questions for our state's attorney? No, and it looks like you have a resolution, Ms. Mosser. Did you want to introduce that one?
Yes, I apologize for that. So this resolution is going to set a budget amount for money that we have in our former weed and seed grant amount. This is money that's already sitting there that cannot be spent unless we have a budget for it. The purpose of the weed and seed program was to get prosecutors and police officers into our community to help prevent both drug and gun and just general violence. And so we are going to be utilizing this to support our community prosecution unit, which is led by SAO employee Pam Bradley. Ms. Bradley does a lot of work with our youth, especially right now in Aurora, North Aurora, and Montgomery, where we try to do youth police academies so that we can get them engaged in our community and they can see the benefit in understanding and being a part of law enforcement. And so this will not only support that, but it will support us going to different types of community organizations to pass out information so that people know the resources the state's attorney's office can be. So with that, I would present that to the board.
Thank you. May I have a motion and a second to discuss and potentially approve this resolution?
Roth will make the motion.
Mr. Roth moves.
Williams seconds.
Mr. Williams seconds. Okay, any comments or questions? Okay, may I have roll call, please?
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Pepe,
Happy, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, this passes on to our finance and budget. Thank you, Ms. Mosser,
Thank
for
you all.
being here. Okay, we will move on to our public defender, Ms. Conant. Good morning.
Good morning. Our reports are on file. Just a couple of things about our numbers. I've spoken before. We had been working really hard on our Keene Branch Court numbers. I am happy to say our attorneys in that courtroom have been doing a phenomenal job along with their supervisor, Britt Hawkins. We have decreased those numbers significantly, which makes it easier for them to work diligently on the cases and make sure we get finality to those clients. We're very happy that those numbers have gone down. We are now starting to focus on our domestic battery numbers in courtroom 209. I think in Ms. Mosser's presentation, you'll probably see a little bit of this. Those numbers continue to increase past the pandemic, but we are working to try to get those numbers manageable for the attorneys in that courtroom. So that is our focus now. And I have nothing else unless there are questions.
Thank you. Any questions for our public defender? Okay, thank you. And we will move on to courts and judiciary and courts. Chief Judge Hall.
Yeah, just a couple things. First, as it relates to Mike's joining the sheriff's office, I've had the opportunity to work with him for the last 25 years, and I want to applaud the sheriff and welcome Mike. It's a great hire, and we're really excited to have you. So that was a great move on all parts. Next, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the strategic plan, which, Ms. Chair, I know that you've been very involved in. We're just finishing up year one. Jason might be able to talk a little bit more about it, but we're excited. It's a 3-year process. Great results in year one, and there's going to be some meetings in August to identify and prioritize what we're going to tackle in year 2. So very excited about that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is if you didn't see it, there was a great article in the Tribune on Sunday. It was a front page article on the Kane County court system, a project that the state's attorney, public defender, sheriff, judiciary, where we looked at the case numbers in May of 2021, wanted to figure out ways that we could try to identify those defendants who had been held in pretrial custody for a year or more and try to reduce those numbers. And if you haven't seen it, the article is great. We've been able to successfully reduce that by over 50%. And so the story really highlighted the collaboration of all of the team members here, but it put Kane County in a great light. It's something that I'm really proud of and something that caught the attention of everybody throughout the state. We've gotten emails and even a consultant from South Carolina that called and wanted to talk to us to figure out how, what the magic formula was. And when I talked to him, I said cooperation. This doesn't happen without the entire team identifying, prioritizing, and working together to get it done. So something that I was really proud of. And if you haven't read the article, I would suggest that you do. So other than that, I'll just turn it over to Andrea and Jason.
If I may, real quick, Judge Hall, he's being very humble. He's the one who led the charge on all of that. And this took a huge weight off of the entire court system. So thank you for leading that charge.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Absolutely.
Get it.
It was great to open up the paper and see us on the front page and just reading the collaboration it's just a perfect example of what all of you have been doing for these past, 3-4 years. It's amazing, really. It's just my compliments to all of you. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Yeah, very proud.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm going to introduce the resolution that we have. It is a resolution for a budget adjustment. It's actually just a housekeeping matter. We had back in May, resolution 2305 passed through the county board authorizing the AOIC modernization grant money. At the time, I was working with Eric in finance to establish the line items. Those have now been put in place. And so this is just an amendment and a budget adjustment.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second to discuss and potentially?
Roth will make the motion.
Linder seconds.
Mr. Roth moves, Mr. Linder seconds. Okay, any comments or questions? May I please have roll call?
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Pepe,
Happy, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes.
That's it.
Okay, and this will pass on to our finance and budget. Okay, thank you. And then we will move on to our court administration. Ms. Ost, good morning.
Good morning. I do not have a presentation today because I have so many resolutions in front of you. But I will start by looking at our statistics and our monthly reports that we always give to you. And I do want to note that before I go into the first resolution, which is asking you to authorize us to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with Kendall County to continue to hold juveniles for them, that the JJC is trending over in year-to-date revenue for intergovernmental agreements than where they normally are. And so with that, I will start rolling into the resolutions. And the first one is, like I said, asking for your permission to enter into an agreement with Kendall County for a 3-year contract with, and it is open to be renegotiated for costs, should costs go up. And right now we're looking at charging a per diem of $175 a day per kid.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second to discuss and potentially approve this agreement?
Williams moves.
Mr. Williams moves.
Linder seconds.
Mr. Linder seconds. Okay, any comments or questions? Ms. Ost, can you just remind us how many JJCs are there in the state of Illinois?
There are 16 juvenile detention facilities that are run by county organizations. And I'll note that juvenile detention facility is unique in the state in that we're not mandated to have a juvenile detention facility. And in fact, years ago, when the circuit was comprised of the 3 counties, Kendall, Kane, and DeKalb, they jointly decided that Kane would build a juvenile detention facility and house minors there, which is why we continue to have great relations with those counties to this day. And so there are only 16 facilities around the state because generally speaking, counties have to pull their resources together in order to build and fund a facility like that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, may I please have roll call?
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Tepe,
Yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, and this passes on to finance and budget.
Thank you. For the next resolution, this is also juvenile detention related. Our medical services contract is expiring, and so we're looking to authorize an existing contract. We just want an extension on that contract. They're looking to increase the costs by 3.8%, but I'm very happy is a strong word, but we are currently under budget. So although there is a slight increase, I'm not asking for additional funds to cover this because I have it within my budget. And what we'll do is a budget adjustment at the end of the year, simply to move funds between line items in order to cover it correctly.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second to discuss and potentially approve?
Roth
Linder.
will make the motion.
Mr.
Linder
Roth
seconds.
moves. Mr. Linder seconds. Okay, any comments or questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, and this passes on to finance and budget as well.
Thank you. So for the next resolution, I want to thank the sheriff for, again, his partnership. Whenever we've had a need, the sheriff has always very graciously allowed us to partner with him where we can in order to meet the needs of the department. And so last year, tragically, we had a cook who developed cancer and passed, and we had a number of illnesses. And so we needed to join into the contract with the sheriff to provide food and meals to our residents. And he allowed us to have a rider onto his contract. So we're looking to extend that with the establishment of the jail's additional contract with Aramark. And so there is a slight cost increase to us, but it's less than $17,000. And again, I have the money in my budget to be able to cover it. I'll make that adjustment at the end of the year. I'm just looking for your permission for us to continue.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second to discuss and potentially approve this resolution?
Linder moves.
Mr.
Gums
Linder
moves.
moves. Ms. Gums seconds. Any comments or questions? Okay, may I please have roll call?
Gums, Ms. Gums,
Yes. Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, and this also passes on to finance and budget. Next
I
one.
have one more contract matter for the juvenile detention facility. So as we spoke at last month's meeting, our juvenile detention facility has been doing really well in their audits. And in fact, at this point, they are recognized as being one of the best detention facilities in the state. And part of that is our adamant adherence to upholding all the laws and the standards that we need to abide by. And one of those is something called the Prison Rape Elimination Act. And that's the federal act that was passed in 2001 under actually the Bush administration. And it mandates certain things like staffing relationships with the kids, making sure we never have more than 8 residents per one staff while they're awake and in the building, so that we can adequately supervise them. This contract in particular, however, addresses a provision within, we call it PREA for short, within PREA that mandates that if someone has been sexually abused, either in the building or as far more frequently happens before they're even arrested. You know, these juveniles, sometimes they lead very troubled and difficult lives, and they're on the streets and they're hanging out with people they shouldn't be. And sometimes very bad things happen to them, like sexual assault. So when they are arrested for some reason and they're admitted into our building, they'll often tell us about this recent sexual trauma that they've experienced. Under the PREA Act, I have to have a way for them to notify people. Of course, we notify people, we make reports, and we begin the investigation so that prosecution can begin if that's what needs to be done. But also they need things like counseling. They need their trauma to be addressed. And so this contract allows us to partner with a community provider, I believe it's FSA, Family Services Association of Greater Elgin, so that they can be the provider and they can answer the calls for these young people.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second to discuss and potentially approve this resolution?
Roth
Gums
Roth
moves.
will make a motion.
I'll let Ms. Gums move and Mr. Roth second.
It's fine.
Any comments or questions? Okay, may I please have roll call?
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, this also passes to finance and budget.
Thank you. And then the last one is, next week is the nationally recognized probation, detention, and pretrial workers appreciation week. And before I begin that, I do want to say, I want to give a special shout out to all of the court services employees. They have worked so hard, and last month, I commented that our turnover was low. We had a great union contract put in place very recently, and morale has been high, and it's just been going really, really well in the department. Unfortunately, having said that, I think I jinxed myself, and that I have had a couple of openings where employees have gone on to higher paying positions. And I'm grateful that they were able to start their careers with us and they gained that experience and they're able to move on. But that is what has resulted in us having a bit of a budget surplus. Nonetheless, I do want to spend, next week, we're going to spend the whole week celebrating them and recognizing them and the work that they do. And as you can see on the proclamation, I won't read the whole thing to you, but we do supervise well over 7,000 individuals through probation. Our detention facility is one of the best in the state. And I believe as of this morning, they had 47 or 48 kids there, and they take good care of them. We have contracts with over 9 counties in the northern region that we partner with. And I'm looking for your support and your recognition for probation and pretrial and detention officer recognition week.
Yeah, may I have a motion? and a
Roth will
second?
make a motion.
Mr. Roth moves.
Williams, seconds.
Mr. Williams seconds. Wonderful. Okay, may I please have roll call?
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, and this will move on to our executive committee.
And I will add, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to add one thing, though. One of the things that the county board or this committee asked Ms. Oss to do, and all of us really to do, is when somebody left, to do an exit interview to find out why they left. And I just want to clarify something that she just said. She's done a fantastic job. Every month, at the end of the month, I get a report. Anybody that left, she writes down, and her staff writes, where are they going? We try to look for why they're leaving. Are they leaving because they're leaving for another probation department, another county? Are they leaving to go to law enforcement? There's a lot of different reasons. Since she's been doing that for over a year, it's been a fascinating look. And I just want to clarify, I don't think that there's anybody that's left, maybe one that had left to go to another probation or another county.
Correct.
So when we talk about how they're leaving for higher paying jobs or going elsewhere, what we're finding is that I'm appreciative of what the board has done. You guys have done an excellent job of trying to identify and bring up the salaries. And so I just think it's important for us to note that when we're leaving, the people that have been leaving probation have been leaving to either it's a career change, it's a lesser commute.
They're joining law enforcement.
Joining law enforcement. So again, what we look at is when we look at it, what we're trying to look at is are people leaving us because they're going to another county where they can get paid more? Right now, recently, we haven't seen that, which is a huge upside, at least on our end. I know that may be different for law enforcement, maybe different for the clerk's office, but I just want to make sure that that, again, Ms. Ost has done a fantastic job of doing these exit interviews. And, we're always willing to share that information, but they're not leaving us to go to DuPage or Lake or McHenry, something that what we used to see at one point in time. So just a point of clarification.
Thank you for that clarification. Actually, yes, that's a very important distinction because mostly they're leaving to go join local law enforcement agencies or to join the sheriff's office. And I will make one more note for the people on this committee is that the probation officers themselves vote amongst themselves for probation officer of the year. And they have made that selection. And so we'll be doing a presentation at the next county board meeting, I believe next week or the week after next, recognizing that individual for being selected.
Wonderful. Any comments or questions for Ms. Ost? Okay, thank you for being here. And then we have our circuit clerk, Ms. Burr, I know is in a conference.
Christy Sharpness for Teresa. Our monthly report is on file. If you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you. Any questions for our circuit clerk? Okay. And then we have next item is our coroner. I didn't see our coroner online. Oh, no, I do. Ms. Coroner Russell.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Yes, our report's on file. I'm very thankful that we dodged a bullet yesterday and not having to be very busy because clearly by hitting, the retirement community, it could have been very much worse. And I'm very thankful that our services were not needed yesterday. So beyond that, our report's on file. And if anybody has any questions, I'm here.
Any questions for our coroner Russell? Okay, no questions here. Thank you for being here, Coroner Russell. All right, any old business to discuss? The only thing I did want to mention is I had last meeting thought about doing a special meeting for our judicial and public safety to discuss those two ordinances. That's still sort of on the agenda for end of July. So I'll reach out to all of you individually to figure out if there's a date that's best to do that. And may I please have a motion to place reports on file?
Roth will make the motion to place reports on file.
Williams seconds.
Okay. Any opposition?
Oh, we got to vote on that.
Okay, let's do a vote.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Pepe,
Tepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Paulina, yes. Okay, and then we do need to go into executive session to discuss release of closed session minutes. May I please have a motion and a second to go into executive session?
Linder moves, we go to executive session to discuss closed session minutes.
Roth will second.
Okay, may I please have roll call?
When we're in. Oh, I'm sorry.
Executive session.
Gums,
Thanks for.
Miss Gums,
Gums is a yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Leonard,
Welcome, Mike.
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Later.
All right, anybody online that's joining us in the closed session, please accept those invites to go into the session. If you are in the room, I also need you to join the closed session, or if you have multiple devices, both devices need to also join us in the closed session. Be aware we are live streaming until I give you the word that we are all together in the closed session. So accept those invites, please.
Barriers?
The Elgin chief just said about 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Okay, all right, all right. 40 homes, about 10 will have to be rebuilt. Not a good deal.
Oh, sorry. Here you go. That guy.
I have a pickup.
He talked to you.
Matt, please.
Yeah, I know.
Almost.
I'm trying to help.
There we go.
Was Scotland.
It was great.
Oh, really? You went there?
Yeah, it was great.
22 hours of daylight.
It would, yeah,
Yeah, I mean.
it was 10 o'clock at night.
That sounds like fun. I believe Edinburgh is on the same.
All right, you are in open session.
Okay, we're back in open session. May I please have roll call?
Gums,
Gums here.
Linder,
Linda present.
Roth,
Roth here.
Teppy,
Happy here.
Williams,
Williams present.
Leonard,
Leonard here.
Molina.
Molina present.
Quorum.
Okay, next item on the agenda is to vote on the release of closed session minutes.
Roth will make a motion to,
There. Okay, is there a second?
I think the motion is to amend and verify.
amend and verify the
Approve.
So the motion is to approve the release of closed session minutes to amend and verify as added in Exhibit A.
yes.
And to verify and correct any, if necessary, any Scrivener's error.
Okay, and to verify and correct if necessary any Scrivener's error, and Mr. Williams
second that
seconds. Okay, all those in favor? Or do I need roll call?
Roll call.
Okay, may I please have roll call?
Gums,
Gums abstain.
Linder,
Linda, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Teppy,
Happy, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, that passes. Do we have any public comment on non-agenda items? Hearing and seeing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Linda moves to adjourn.
Roth will second.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, thank you, everybody, for your time. We'll see you next in a few weeks.